Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, it's time!
And welcome everyone to the Circle Debate Championship on the Line and IR podcast, ladies and gentlemen. The host of DV's One IBC, the moderator, as a matter of fact, excuse me, let me correct myself. So let me go ahead and, of course, before passing on, introduce the man that brings that rage out of you to take out of that cage. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Bring that pain in that cage. Rage, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Rage, the phenomenal one, Coach Rage. IR MMA. That's right. That's right.
There we go.
Right. That is right. And of course, the host with the most, coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast, the Midwest, anywhere. He is
North Coast, South Coast.
Yes. The director himself.
Middle Coast.
The host. Chris Kennedy.
What up? 281 is in the books and might be card of the year. I think it might be up there for sure.
That is right. We're here to talk about 281. Adesanya and Piera, the main pay-per-view card. Take it away, director. It's all yours.
Yeah. I don't think there was a fight on there that let me down as far as excitement levels go. I think top to bottom, every fight on there could have possibly gotten performance of the night in one way or the other. So I am excited to talk about our picks for the main event. For the main card, actually a 5-fight main card. But since it's just us three, we're just going to talk about our 3 fights or our 3 picks. So it's going to be easy. I win.
But go ahead and take it away, director.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No worries, man. So first fight of the night. I only had the last names pulled up. Let me actually get to the full Wikipedia real quick. UFC 281. Easy peasy. First fight of the night, Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles. Man, did this look exactly like that Ryan Hall fight where he got stopped after he kept going for his 4,000th Imanari roll. Puelles was looking good at first. He had them 50-50 position. He had some leg locks. I was like, oh, shit, Dan Hooker's about to get tapped. But then he didn't, and then Dan kind of figured out the formula and started landing body shot after body shot, and eventually it was wasn't a teep. I think it was just a regular front push kick that stopped it in the second round. And Claudio's, I think, first loss in the UFC. Let me say that was his first loss overall. No, just in the it's his second loss in the UFC, but it's been 6 years since that loss. So yeah, Dan Hooker keeps his job.
Yes, he's going to back baby.
That's what a lot of people were kind of expecting. Like, this could have been the love it or leave it match for Dan Hooker. He had not won most of his recent fights, even though he is super young. He's got tons of mileage and a couple of finishes that didn't go his way. He won 2 of his last 6, and that's pretty rough for a guy that's only 32 years old in the UFC. So he gets one more fight, and we'll see how the next fight goes. For Claudio, I think he'll be okay. I think he knows that he can't just keep going for those Imanari rolls. Didn't work for Dan Hooker, or it didn't work for Ryan Hall. Didn't work for him. So I think he threw like a fancy kick in there. Didn't work. So good times. But yeah, spirited performance by Dan Hooker. Didn't tap, which is I thought he was going to for sure.
Absolutely.
Who did you pick, Ivan? Do you have your picks up or?
Yeah, well, no, obviously I was busy. Of course, I was doing what was it doing that day? I think I was doing the watch along. I believe I was.
Oh,
yeah.
That's when the fake fight was on.
Oh no, I was doing the league. I was doing the league Thanksgiving special. But no, this one I picked Hooker to win because he needs to. I mentioned last week that he needed to keep his job because if he would have lost this one, either is right there down the corner for you, buddy. So that could have happened here in this case. But kudos to Hooker. I mean, great performance. Honestly, did not expect I really thought that Boyes wasn't going to have him in that leg lock. How you mentioned, director. I thought it was, oh shit, it's about to be it. It's Hooker's done. It's over already. But
he was transitioning from leg lock to D-bar to back and forth, keeping him in the guard. Yeah.
I honestly, I thought he locked in that knee bar good. I'm like, oh, this is it. And kudos to Hooker to getting out of it. He switched off, transitioned a bit. Then those strikes, and then I think it was the kick, right? I'm trying to remember. It was
definitely a front body kick, and he sort of tapped. He went down forward, and then he was conscious, but he definitely told the ref, "I am done, ski."
Yeah,
which I would be too, for sure.
Oh, definitely. So shout out to Hooker for a great win, great performance. I really, honestly, everybody doubted him, and so whoever the bettors were, I mean, you did a parlay, you lost this parlay for sure because you're like, fuck, why did I get a Hooker here? But hey, well, Hooker gets to live another day to fight in the UFC octagon and cage my Q. Boyes is young enough to learn from this. Hooker needed this, yes,
yeah, for sure. And I picked Puelas by submission round 1, and I was close. I mean, I was like, oh, well, that was pretty simple. But no, Dan got through it. Next fight of the night, the retirement match.
You got to get coach. You got to get coach's thoughts.
No, we're all right. Coach knows we're all right. No, Coach, what's up, man? Sorry. I just woke up.
Well, I was surprised at this fight, actually. I picked Hooker to lose. I thought Hooker was going to get tapped. I don't remember if I picked round 1 or round 2. But Claudio, I thought looked awful. I thought he looked not even one-dimensional, like half-dimensional. His grappling wasn't even sophisticated. He spammed the Eminari rolls, just kept trying, and only went for the legs.
Yes.
There was no wrestling. There was no Greco. There was no judo. There was no takedown attempts. And then on his feet, he was bad. So I really thought that he was better than what he showed. But I now question that.
Right.
And Hooker, once Hooker figured out that he didn't need to worry about the leg locks, that he could defend them, he just pieced him up. He just sniped at him and just so good on Hooker, and forget about the other guy. I don't think I think that's it. I think that's as high as he goes, actually. After a performance like that, when you show that much lack of diversity, everyone knows how to beat you now, and you can't learn fast enough or grow fast enough or change fast enough. So I don't see him having much of a future.
Yeah, that's sort of how I don't want to feel that way about Ryan Hall, just because how big of a fan I am of his, but I kind of see that happening too. He does have that one win since that loss, but I mean, his formula is very similar to that, where it's the roll, go for the leg lock. He's going to go for it. He has those spinny kicks, but they are definitely because he wants you to take him down.
Yeah. I would say it's about the same for Ryan Hall. He's he's good at what he's good at, but that unfortunately that's not MMA.
Yeah, and everyone knows exactly what that is. So starting to see it. Cool. Next fight of the night, the retirement match: Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to. I got it right. I got it half right. I got it KO round 2, and it was faster than I think that Sandhagen fight. Or it might have been the same amount of time.
Yeah.
A flying knee, not even out of nowhere, a flying knee from the West Coast all the way to everyone saw it coming except Frankie.
He didn't see that all coming.
Puts him out in the first, and I mean, win, lose, or draw, Frankie was going to retire anyways. Sucks it had to come down to this. Ivan, what are your thoughts on this? Brutal. Frankie hasn't been TKO'd. He's been flatlined all of his KOs. Korean Zombie flatlined. The uppercut from Brian Ortega. knocked him off his feet. It was like the Ngannou knockout over Overeem. Yeah, I mean, I wish this happened maybe 2 fights ago now, considering how easy Chris, barely had to tap him to put him down.
Yeah. Did he retire?
That was definitely his retirement fight. He said it was everyone knew it.
Good.
Yeah.
4 fights too late, but
I feel that way too. Usually I'm like, let me see. I mean, that Frankie Munoz fight, I was like, oh, Frankie might still be in there. But no, that's 3 straight up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's either retire or get cut. I think he made the right decision of obviously retiring, which he should have retired quite some time. I think Coach and digressed about it last week's show on the predictions, and I agree.
Frankie Munoz fight would have been the best time.
Honestly, yeah.
Pedro Munoz.
Yeah, Pedro Munoz. Yeah, no, I agree.
Even though Pedro won that fight, but the judges gave it to Frankie. But he should. That's when he should have. That should have been his last fight, definitely.
No, totally, I agree.
And I hate that I was so right about this, but it keeps happening. And you can blame the UFC, but fighters have to take some personal responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. You saw with Chuck where Dana was just too close to him to let him retire. Dana's like, hey, just go until you don't want to go. Yeah, 5 KOs in a row, and what happened there. So
and Mark Henry should know better. Also, his Frankie's coach, but
well, he's busy making pizzas in code, so
right.
But man, I'm just glad that Frankie is done. He now could put, hang those gloves and retire, be a commentator, be an analyst. That's the best thing you could do, Frankie.
I don't even know if he's expressed interest in doing any of those things. I think homie needs to go home to his kids for the next 2 years and just watch them grow.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But I'm just saying, maybe if it comes in mind, if he's interested of getting involved again around being surrounded by the MMA environment again, I think that will be probably the best option for him. Don't try to attempt to do a comeback or at Bellator or PFL or anywhere else. Just fucking stay retired, but be doing something different. And if you want to be still surrounded by the MMA world, besides how you mentioned, take 2-3 years off, spend time with your family. You haven't really spent much, which he should. I mean, of course,
and it's too late to get paid by Jake Paul.
Oh, definitely. It's too late to get paid for that. Yeah. He has been asking for that. He got paid.
Yes.
He got paid. And Woodley too. Jesus Christ. But yeah, you don't want to be those. You don't want to be those guys. Don't. Or Silva. Jesus. No, I don't want to see that. No. A damn shame. No. Frankie, stay retired. Spend time with your family. Don't do that Jake Paul bullshit. No. I don't want to see that. But yeah.
All right. We are on to, very clearly what we all thought and what we all knew, fight of the night, almost fight of the year. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. God damn, who did I pick? I picked Poirier by decision. It was Poirier by rear naked choke, which I don't know if anybody, did anyone in here think there was going to be a submission in this fight?
No.
Did you even entertain the possibility that maybe I should pick a submission?
No.
Yeah, me neither. No. Chandler, just like in the Oliveira fight, that was his first round to lose. Even in the post-fight, Poirier was like, I was definitely out on my feet. And because Chandler throws looping punches, I was able to recover. But if he was throwing them straight down the middle, I would have been out. I don't know why you give the game away to your opponent. If there's a rematch, Chandler hopefully watched that interview and knows what to do next time. But Poirier withstood the fire and got the sub on Chandler. And I don't remember the last time Chandler got subbed. I think it was by one of the pit bulls, if ever.
Oh.
Will Brooks get him? Let's find out. If I find he has one submission loss, and if it's either of those names, I'll be pretty fucking stoked.
See, Edgar wants to now and train
wrestling. Right? No, it was the TKO. Who was it?
Chandler's wearing a face mask right now from all the damage. I didn't see that. I didn't see that picture.
Chandler has one submission loss. I guess that was the first time. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely thought someone in Bellator got him once a long time ago, and wow, Poirier's got a huge feather in his hot sauce cap. That definitely keeps Poirier in the title spot. think Chandler's still trying to call out McGregor, who will never come back off to fight someone off their loss like that. So,
I mean, come on. You know what McGregor will do.
He wants Poirier 4. He wants that Poirier 4th fight. He's, I think, training to fight back, but it's a 6-month USADA testing pool, which he has not entered into yet. So,
really?
Weird, right? No, I don't mind Conor inside the cage, so I hope he gets his shit together and comes back.
Oh,
Poirier wants to fight Dariush. Yeah, and they said I think they wanted to do that in a certain location. I forget where they said. I think Poirier said Brazil or some shit like that. I don't know why. Dariush is from
that fight makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Poirier, Dariush.
Yes.
However, I feel like it's unfair to Dariush. But hey, it's a good. I mean, it makes sense.
If Dariush says yes to it, then we can't argue with it. But I know what
exactly.
You're saying. Yeah, because I know that interim title, or not interim title, it's locked up in that
Volkanovski.
Yeah, which is booked for Australia, which is going to be a super fight for sure.
Yeah.
So I think there is an interim title coming.
No. No. There was discussion. There's someone made a comment. I think you posted, Coach. Someone said, "Oh, they should make an interim title for this belt. I mean, for the lightweight, since Islam's fighting."
Yeah, I think Poirier even said that the Dariush fight might be for it. There's discussion of it being material.
That
I'd be cool with.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, not at all.
Especially if
Poirier's ever been interim champ, so why not again?
Yeah, but see, from my perspective, get the boys paid, and if it's an interim strap, that's cool. Get them paid.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, I agree.
Ivan, who did you pick for this one, bro?
Well, I picked Chandler, so I mean, but of course I lost that one. And man, but what first round of the year. I mean, this could be the first round of the year for sure, like how you mentioned on the chat.
Yeah, as I was watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, round of the year for sure. Like,
round of the year for sure. This was fucking banger, man. I really enjoyed it. I really thought Chandler had him. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be it. This is Chandler's opportunity, but no, he fucked it up. I mean, I feel like he fucked.
I mean, I would never say fuck it up unless the dude slipped on like Anderson Silva taunted and got KO'd. Chandler tried to win this fight. I don't think he let his foot off the gas. I think the gas just turned on.
Well, yeah, he ran out of gas.
Yeah, that can happen. That was a very high energy first round.
Yeah.
So I mean,
what I see with Chandler though that I'm a little disappointed with is that he keeps making the same mistakes. He keeps making the same technical errors with striking. And he's not getting better in his skill and his technique, which really doesn't make sense to me considering he's training with Henry Hoof. He's got legit teams, he's got legit coaches, he's got training partners. So I wonder where his head's at. I'm happy that he's here in the big show, and I love Chandler on the mic. He's actually, I think he's my favorite athlete, fighter, interviewer. But that's the only critique that I would have is in his striking. His hands get low and wide, and it's unnecessary. And considering how long he's been in the UFC and how long he's been working with Henry Hoof, that should be fixed by now. Poirier did great. Poirier looked phenomenal. On our previous podcast, I was saying that I was concerned that he had peaked and that he's on his decline. And because honestly, when Poirier fought McGregor, I thought it looked like Poirier was slipping. It looked to me like he wasn't performing as well as he should be. But here against Chandler, he looked phenomenal. Although he did get tagged, he did get rocked. What did you guys think about the fingers in the mouth?
So I watched the post fight, and there are the conflicting opinions about what happened. Chandler said that it was an unfortunate position that he was trying to get his fingers out of the mouth. It was an accident. The cage had his elbow. His elbow was in the gloves and he just couldn't pull it. And then obviously Corey was like, no, that's bullshit. It was totally deliberate. So I don't know Chandler to do that, but that could be why he did it. I don't know. In a moment like that, you are pretty freaking desperate, but would he resort to that? It is an old wrestling tactic. Chandler is wrestler. So only they know for sure.
The ref didn't call it, so it didn't happen. Yeah, what did you guys think of the blood faucet?
So when you said you like listening to Chandler talk, did you listen to his post fight in the press conference?
Oh, not in the press conference, no.
Okay, so he basically said that. So I had to breathe. I had a giant snot rocket up there. I had to get rid of it somewhere, and if it goes down onto his back, I didn't invent gravity. I'm sorry about it, but I couldn't help it. And I was like, and then Poirier retorted with, "No, that was on purpose." So again, it's science versus opinion between these two. And again, I don't know if it was on purpose or not. I have no idea.
I think to me it was purposely. I think it was intentionally for me.
I think it was all on purpose. I think the fingers on the mouth was intentional. I think the snot rockets was intentional.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't take away from anything. For me, listen, it's illegal when the ref calls it. Other than that, we're fucking fighting.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna cry about my blood being in your fucking great, let me bleed on you. I'm there to kick the shit out of you and make you bleed and make you hurt. You're gonna care, my fingers in your mouth. Come on. Now, it's illegal, but only if the ref calls it. So
yeah, I mean, and I did like the fact that Poirier.
It's like pro wrestling. If he doesn't see it, you can't call it.
I did like the fact that Poirier called them out.
Oh,
right
man,
after
we
the fight.
We gotta start putting guys in the cage, distracting the ref.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm saying that I do like the fact. I like how Poirier.
You think they should? I know why they had it, but do you think they should bring back the Pride Cam?
Oh, on the ref?
Yeah. Like a little inside baseball. If you don't know, now you know. That was only so people in the back could tell the ref when to call whatever finish they wanted to. It was all corruption. It was just to let the people in the back know what's happening so they can be like, stop this fight. We have money on this guy. That's the only reason that camera was on the ref.
In Pride, you mean?
In Pride, yeah. And Dream and Pancrase and
Rings.
Maybe M1.
But they didn't have the camera in Rings.
They didn't have the camera in Dream?
Rings.
Oh, no, I didn't mention
Rings. Predated all that shit. Yeah, no, I said Rings.
You said Rings. Okay, cool.
Because I thought we were making a list of all the works.
Right.
Yeah. But
like Jake Paul and Silva.
No, but I did like how Poirier pulled him out after the fight he spoke to him like, hey, you disrespected me. I don't forget exactly what he told him in details, but pretty much told Chandler, yeah, this is my octagon, this is my ring, and so
right.
I did like that from Poirier, and like I said,
Chandler retorted because these guys have been going back and forth. Chandler retorted he wasn't as gracious in the win as I would have been. So it's like, fucking man, which one of you is right? So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Poirier that he won the fight. That's
exactly right. And Poirier is right because Poirier got the tap. But
exactly,
that's how this works. By the way, I don't know any of you guys new to MMA. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you good.
So now we are on to the co-main event of the night: Zhang Weili versus Carla Esparza for the Women's Strawweight Championship.
Is that? Oh, that looks the same.
Zhang just came out just ready to win this belt. She wasn't going to coast. She wasn't going to let the judges dictate it for her. She wasn't going to react to the boos. And Carla just had nothing anywhere. And one thing that I noticed and mentioned was that Carla didn't have defense for wrestling defense. Her wrestling didn't work. And when Zhang was able to counter it, she had no idea what to do. Put herself in bad position after bad position. She would end up on the bottom after going for a takedown, eat some punches, find her way back up miraculously. tried to stand with Zhang, which didn't work out, and ended up getting tapped with a crucifix rear naked choke, which I love. It was a very Mackenzie Dern finish. It was very half crucifix and then the choke. It was almost a chicken wing. It's like a very pro wrestling finisher, and I loved it. And Zhang is a 2-time world champion in one of her easiest fights of all time. Not that Carla didn't deserve to be put out that way. She just didn't have an answer for anything.
Yeah. I was worried that it was going to be bad for Carla. I thought Carla was going to get busted up. I thought there was going to be bombs and elbows. And so the fact that she got through with so little damage makes me happy. Are we going to talk about USADA in China at all, or are we just going to pretend that this shit's not happening?
Or its lack of, or
yeah.
do you think that if it's becoming an issue, let us know, Coach?
Well, Thailand's also an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah. See, USADA is an issue. There's some things I can't actually say, but USADA is definitely an issue. There are countries where people work for affiliates that work for USADA that they are supposed to be testing, and they kind of look the other way. And there's a number of countries that's happening with. Brazil's a big one. Thailand's a big one.
Where there's countries without a commission, UFC is self-governing. Essentially, is what happens.
Yeah, but then there's like it gets a little more diluted in certain countries where it's anyway. And with China, there's so everything dealing with China, guys, come on, is shady, right? So anyway, and it's not just PEDs. I think there's gene doping. I think there's I don't know. This is not natural.
In short, there is a big asterisk over this win for Coach. And Ivan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, you pretty much answered it. I didn't expect. Honestly, I expected the same thing. I thought it was going to be a brutal fight. I was expecting a bloodied up Esparza, but did not expect Wailing to win by submission. And yeah, I definitely it surprised me that she had no counter defense on the wrestling. I did not. I assuming that Esparza is great on the ground, that's how we know her, but did not expect her to not have any counter defense on that. And and the way how Zhang did that choke, I mean, that was Jesus. It looked like almost like a crucifix, almost just like it was
a half crucifix with the rear naked choke on it.
It
was exactly. It was like
awesome.
It was the definition of take whatever's available to you for sure.
Yeah. The challenging thing about grappling for MMA, you have to be able to wrestle when you need to wrestle, but you also need to do submission, jiu-jitsu, sambo. You need to be able to do the takedowns and transition into submission grappling. And for real MMA grappling, there needs to be strikes in there also. And so it's really challenging to be good at one aspect of grappling.
Yeah.
And do MMA. So when you have somebody who's an outstanding wrestler, but not so polished in the submissions and not so great at the ground and pound, that's where the holes start showing up. And that's why a lot of guys who don't have a wrestling background or don't really have a jiu-jitsu background are great at MMA grappling and terrible at sport grappling. They don't do well at catch wrestling or BJJ or straight wrestling, but they're great at fighting. So anyway, yeah.
Cool. All right, now I think our time to speak about main event of the night: Israel Adesanya versus Poatan Alex Pereira in a fight. It was a beautiful fight, start to finish. That's the only way to describe it. This is a kickboxing fight with a little MMA thrown in there. Round 2 or 3, we saw a takedown from each of them. I think it was the first time Izzy been taken down. I think it was the first time Alex had been taken down. And then, I mean, at least at the middleweight division for Izzy, because we saw Jan Blachowicz wrestle fuck the shit out of him for 25 minutes. Man, that first round, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Everyone says 2 more seconds and Izzy had it, but that's on him. That's on the buzzer. Alex rallied. Legendary story about what his coaches said to him at the beginning of that last round, that the 5th round, where they basically said 5 more minutes, you're going to be a champion. They essentially did what I don't like, is they cheerleaded him and didn't coach him, but it worked. So he came out. You see, there's footage. He says, "I'm ready to kill," and then you see the camera pan over to Izzy, and then he says, "I'm prepared to die." And this round showed both of their mentalities in that. Like, Izzy definitely wasn't trying to lose this fight, and Alex definitely was trying to win this fight. And we saw that in the 5th round. TKO stoppage, I think, was justified. 2 more shots and Izzy would have been flatlined. And new Alex Pereira 4-0 against a style bender. I picked, for some reason, I think Izzy by decision. I think that was a very safe bet.
Yes.
And it was looking that way based on the scorecards, especially after
4-0 or 3-0?
4-0. 4-0? 3-0.
3.
It's going to be 20-0 no matter what. Izzy wants to fight again, and I'm cool with that. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, legendary main event fight, one of the greatest main event fights of all time, in my opinion, greatest title fights. But yeah, just wow, holy shit! I didn't think Alex was going to be able to recover his cardio after that match. Whatever round the takedowns were in, where he did look gassed and he looked like he had trouble getting off his back and getting back to his feet. He was able to pull it out in that 5th, and just was relentless. That finishing combo, it looked like it was never going to end, and the ref did, I think, save Izzy from permanent damage.
Yeah, man, it's insane. I could say, this was, I think for me, honestly, this fight for Izzy was one of his best performance. I think out of all the fights,
in a loss, you can say it was a great performance from Izzy.
Yeah, no, indeed. I'm not even like counting the loss. I'm just saying in his performance himself. Like, I'm not talking about the losing yet, but I'm speaking like him in performing in an octagon. I think this is like one of his best ones, and I could say it was a very challenging one for him, because
definitely.
The other ones were not for me. Like, oh my god, this was a badass fight. I think this was the one that I think all of us wanted to see of Izzy. We haven't seen that in, you tell me when this is the last prior fights that we have seen it in quite some time. We really haven't. And this is the one that really was the one.
The Whitaker fight, which was,
the first one. That's probably the only one I would say.
I think he looked great, and he looked great in this fight, even with the loss. This was not the same. He looked better in this loss than his last 3 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But this fight for me, I think it was it can remind me of the Usman Leon one. Okay, here he goes, going to win the last few seconds. But of course, when you have Glover Teixeira telling you need to knock his ass out now, because if you don't, you lost the fight. You will not be a champion. You want to be a champion, you got to win this fight, knock his ass out. And that's what he did, and caught him off guard. And Izzy was just stumbling. I know, they asked Dana, was he happy about the stoppage? And I think it was a great call. I know certain people that are, in the MMA community, internet will be like, no, they do too early to stop the fight. No, I think it was the right call. I think it was the right decision. And I like how Izzy at least was a gentleman towards the end. Saying, okay, thank you so much in the middle of the octagon. Thank you, bowing, to the fans. But I liked his performance, both of them. Pereira, I guess he kind of, who was still, him transitioning from kickboxing to MMA. It reminded me of who could say remind me of Ngannou, kind of like not Ngannou going in transition. Now, like I think what now is with now Alex being the champion, now more eyes on him, and now I think he needs to start, and I hope we see that. I think he's going to develop more, better in the octagon, and I'm looking forward of what's next for him. I know Izzy's going to take some. I know he was. I mean, it's said already. An automatic rematch is going to happen. We all know that. It is no doubt. It's going to be an automatic rematch. I think this time Izzy's going to go back to the drawing board, and I think he's going to come really more aggressive this time and try to finish off Alex in this rematch for sure when it happens. But I think Alex will need to work on his. For me, Alex needs to work on his, conserving, that energy, because he kind of looked like, oh shit, like by the second, third round, if correct if I'm wrong, but he looked really gassed out, and so. But whatever Teixeira told him, get him that momentum back. Could we see that again? And I'm excited to see this this rematch if it happens. When it happens for sure. But I can say that Izzy's performance this is the best one, and I can't wait to see this. But kudos to Alex for winning this fight, and I can't wait for the rematch, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, if they book that in anywhere in what is the region of Australia, New Zealand called? Pacifica or something like that. They book it anywhere down there, it'll be a giant fight for sure. They can book it in Brazil. I mean, they haven't been to Brazil in a while for a major pay-per-view. I would love it to be in any one of those countries, Australia, New Zealand, or Brazil. That would be probably one of the biggest international UFC cards of all time for sure.
I think Dana did say his plan was to go to New Zealand when he did that. No, I'm sorry, Brazil. That was his next goal right now. He wanted to go back because they haven't gone back since the pandemic, so he wants to go back to Brazil and make a good card after that. One thing I wanted to bring up, I apologize. Piero's defense was not the best on this one because it's like he kept himself open too much. He took those damage. I think that's where I hope Glover could really, or someone who could actually in his camp teach him how to be very defensive on his hands. Glover, we know we're used to you, Glover, taking all the damages and then somehow win in the end of the fight. It's like Glover's cup of tea. We already know that, but don't give it to Alex, man. I think the guy has the size, the length, the reach. He has the power.
I want to be in that shape. I have no idea. That is just a lot of running, and I have no idea what else. A lot of kickboxing.
That dude kind of diet shit too.
Yeah, that dude is super lean, super sinewy. Is bigger than Izzy, as far as like frame goes, which is unbelievable considering how big Izzy already is. So yeah, Alex is definitely someone who like very imposing figure at 185. I think he said that he fights at 220. Someone said, I think Izzy said that, which is pretty absurd for someone who doesn't, have a career cutting weight like a wrestler would. Yes, Gage, I saw that, and I think that fight makes sense on a timeline for sure. I would love to see Chimaev maybe get one fight at middleweight, destroy that one fight, and then get a title shot against the winner in this rematch. That would be the perfect timeline. I would not be mad at that.
All right.
Yeah, so I was pretty critical of Izzy, not for this fight, but coming up to this fight. And it turns out that previously he was just kind of bored. At least that's how it looked to me. Like, like a kid that's underperforming because he's bored.
Yeah, same old toys.
Right? But he stepped up. He stepped up and he went out there and he fought Pereira. And I didn't expect that. I expected him to do what he did with Cannonier, do what he did with Romero. He impressed me. He fought well. He was the better grappler, which was surprising. Izzy was the better grappler. That actually surprised me quite a bit because Pereira is actually quite good and extremely strong. But apparently Izzy is just a little bit better. He had better positioning. He had better understanding of the position. Alex has always had an issue getting hit. And that's because, take one to give one, he always wins that. He hits harder than the majority of any superhero. So that's been an issue that's been with him his entire career. If you look in Glory, he gets hit too much. So, but it was kind of like the first fight or the second fight between Izzy and Pereira, where Izzy wobbled him, he rocked him, and then Pereira actually got it done. I absolutely, it was the right decision. It was not an early stoppage in any way.
No. Even
Izzy was hurt. Yeah. Well, Izzy did complain about it, but then he kind of backtracked
in the moment as it's happening. In conversations afterwards, he didn't really speak up about it being early. He said, "Let me go out." He said, "Let me go out on my shield."
And he made some shitty comments about the ref. And
did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He's like, "Oh, bring back Maserati." Or
well, that's right. He did say bring back Maserati.
Yeah, Maserati. Yeah,
that generated a laugh from the peanut gallery.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny, to be fair.
And I'm sorry, I do not like Izzy as a person. I find him to be completely insincere when he's sitting here saying that he's grateful, but no, you're not, bro. You're sour grapes. You're a poor loser, and just shut up and do the rematch. I do think Izzy is going to win the rematch.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I guess that's another episode, right?
Yeah, when that fight happens, you've got content. That's for sure.
And it's funny that that when Izzy said about the ref, even Derek Lewis said the same thing when they asked him, "What did you think about that fight?" He's like, "Yeah, bring back what Izzy said, bring them Maserati, bring." I was like, "Wow, really?" Like it's funny, man. But I think that's the rematch for sure. We're gonna see Izzy probably regaining that belt, but. I don't. This middleweight, you tell me, gentlemen. I don't know how you guys feel about this middleweight. I mean, let's look at the division itself.
It's the same old top 10 even that's been around for since Izzy debuted in the UFC.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to go over it for too long. It's going to be the same 5 or 6 people.
Yeah. It's just yeah. It's just
I don't
know.
What is interesting is if you look at the roster. Most Marvin Vettori is very capable of beating Alex Pereira. Other grapplers, other wrestlers that are in the top 2 or 3 can beat Pereira. So the instant rematch is the best move for the company. Guarantee that you get a great fight between the 2 top strikers, and then deal with it. If Izzy wins, well, we have the same problem that we had before. He's already lapped the division. He's already cleared it out. But if Pereira wins again, then there are some interesting matches to be made with the superior grapplers.
Or does need more movement, or Pereira? I see. He means okay. Needs more movement. A strength advantage will eventually fade, but not before making his more money. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could agree with that. I mean, I totally agree. The one thing I know, I think we didn't bring it up, but I just, I'm not trying to be in the sad moment, but I think, our condolences to the Rumble family, man. Just wanted to say that.
Devastating. I knew that we knew that, there was something was happening. His coaches had said that he was not doing well a few months ago. We didn't know the specifics of it. Didn't know if it was something that was lethal and one of the hardest hitters in the history of UFC. Yeah. And I remember his debut against Chad Reiner, 13-second knockout. Man down.
Yep.
Knocked that guy into oblivion, and he's done that to every opponent he's won against since. And I will definitely miss watching his highlights. He's knocked out Nog, I think. Did he knock out Glover? He definitely knocked out Alexander Gustafsson for sure. But yeah, legendary hands for sure.
Yeah. Go watch the movie Warrior.
Featuring Coach Rage and Anthony Rumble Johnson. Rumble on, young man.
Yeah.
Yes, Rumble on. Yes.
He's my age. He was 38 exactly.
Did we find out what it was
There's a specific thing that has been reported. It's a lot of letters, so let me see if I can even find it.
So like a non-Hodgkin lymphoma is like
that complication.
Well, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was one.
Yeah, and
theory.
The other one was
Moderna was the other.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
I can't pronounce the word. Is I can't even say the word. Jesus Christ! My English is not that great. It's a long, lymphocytis that I know that it was that, but he was young, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Very young, and it's an unfortunate. I mean, man, the guy was awesome. I really liked him. Very humble, very, very humble. Did like that fight with him and even Ryan Bader. I think him and Ryan Bader was like one of my favorites that I'd like to see. I mean, that I saw, and Glover too. I mean, that was really great. I mean, kudos to
Yeah, knocked out Glover.
Career, man.
Super quick. I remember that. That's right. Yeah. Same thing with Bader. Yep. Yeah. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Those wins, KOs over champions: Glover, Teixeira, Ryan Bader, Jimmy Manuel, Gustafson, Little Nog.
Oh, I like the Gustafson's fight. That was really
I
remember that.
Dude, guy fought Dan Hardy at 170. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
The days, man, when that dude was at 170, clocking in at 192 on fucking fight night. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, thoughts on that? Unless Alex buy the tickets, I'll go, but I'm not gonna buy a ticket for fucking
I don't really. That doesn't make me want to pay for anything that Bellator is.
Don't see. No.
Bader put him out in like 12 seconds in the first fight. I don't think all fights have to be 50-50 booking, but I think that might be the same result for Fedor again.
Yeah, that was no.
Yeah. Should Fedor retire? Yes, he should. Fedor should be retired. So I have to say about Fedor. But I wanted to say one thing just very brief. That Bakley said about having I'm looking for his comment. They should book a fight between who did he say it was wants to fight Poirier and Darush. I think that fight should happen along with Islam and Volkanovski. I think it should happen there.
That fight should happen in Australia. You'd have to book that now. You have to book that today. Then.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if Poirier's ready to go, I would book it. I mean, that's just me. I mean, that's my, I think Russian Mafia made some moolah for the first time. Lucky shot from Bader. I was at the Oh, all right. So yeah, go ahead, director. Closing thoughts.
No, I'm good, man. I can't wait for UFC 282. I need to look at that card real quick to see what we're going to
I got it right here.
Here we go.
Oh my God. The rematch. Yuri Prokoshka versus Glover Teixeira. Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. That's going to be a banger. The Baddie Pimblett versus Flash Gordon. Wow. Robbie Lawler versus Santiago Ponzinibbio and Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria. Yeah, that's a lot of that's exciting. I think I'm looking forward to at least a Paddy fight. I like Paddy. I'm entertained by him. I'm not one of those guys who
there's some strange matchups here.
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys who's waiting for Paddy to lose. I don't have that opinion about him. Darren Till versus the South African sensation Dricus du Plessis. That's going to be a good fight. Yeah, I can't wait to see how if Darren Till even shows up to that fight, just because of his tendency to pull out of his most recent fights.
Wow, Edmund Shabazian.
I didn't know Edmund Shabazian was even still in the UFC.
And look who he's fighting.
Yeah, Dalcha Lumbiagbabula.
Yeah, exactly. Well done, sir. Wow.
Well done.
Yeah, that's who's going. That whoever loses that fight is out.
Yeah, I can't imagine Edmund being on a win streak 3 in a row, and that guy was the future. I thought that dude was going to be like the next Izzy in UFC. I was like, oh my God, this kid's 19 knockouts out with heel kicks. Let's go.
Who are we talking about?
Edmund Shabazian.
Oh yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah, I got a little history with that kid, so
I know you got nothing but love for Glendale Fight Club.
Awesome, that is awesome. I'm excited. This is going to happen on December 10th, of course. And a lot of things are happening
that the title fight, the rematch, Yuri and Glover, man.
Yeah, that is basically that is the most interesting fight on that card. It
is. It's gonna be where's it gonna be held in
the only guy to ever tap a high level like Glover Teixeira, one of the highest level jiu-jitsu players in UFC, is a guy that doesn't have a belt in jiu-jitsu.
Right?
That's what I love about this game, man. I love that. That's like when Travis Lutter knocked out Marvin Eastman. No, it's not. Don't quote me on that. That is before your time. Like 45, where Kerry Kasem was the ring announcer. So yeah, throwback to Kerry Kasem.
What did you just say?
You don't remember Kerry Kasem? Casey Kasem's daughter was UFC ring interviewer.
No.
You don't know? Okay.
No, we're on different timelines, brother.
Oh, see, I've been watching fighting longer than you've been fighting, I guess.
No, I think it's like a Mandela effect.
No, this is real. One moment.
No.
Kerry Kasem. Okay, so you know Casey Kasem, right? The radio DJ.
No.
Also the voice of Scooby-Doo.
Fake news.
Fake news?
Fake news.
All right.
Scooby-Doo. So Scooby-Doo was an announcer? Wait, what are we talking about? In your reality, in your timeline, Scooby-Doo does MMA? Is that I don't understand what you're saying.
The voice of Shaggy, a guy named Casey Kasem, who was also a radio DJ, had a daughter who was UFC interviewer.
Weren't Scooby and Shaggy like gay? How do you have a daughter? I don't understand.
Be some intergender stuff right there. I'm not too sure how that works, but I remember the post-fight interview.
Oh, Coach is killing me, man.
I remember it specifically because she goes up to Travis Lutter and goes, Travis Lutter, you are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. What are you doing knocking out a kickboxer? And then Travis Lutter goes, man, this is the place. I promise you, go watch that fight. It's only like 3 seconds.
Wow. Travis Lutter.
From Texas.
Damn. Yeah.
Did
he fight Anderson?
He got knocked. Yeah, he got tapped in the second round at UFC 67 with the triangle elbows. It was a non-title fight. It was a non-title fight. It was defense.
Oh shit! Fuck! Fuck, man! That was just fucking crap. I'm sorry. It just fucking Coach just killed me right now. Oh Jesus! I love it. I love it. Oh.
All right. So you're bringing Scooby snacks next time,
right?
Closing thoughts, director. Close it out. Take us home.
That's it, man. I'm right, and my MMA historical accuracy is 100%. I will see you guys for UFC 282.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Tuning in. We'll be back, of course, within, let's see, this is December 10th. So I'm looking at the calendar. So let's see. We'll be back in 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back and we'll come and do our predictions for UFC 282, the last pay-per-view for 2022. And we'll be back and for you guys. And also do not forget to follow and subscribe to the Championship on the Line and to the IR as well. Make sure, IR, ladies and gentlemen, follow the coach himself on the social media platforms. Follow him right there on his YouTube channel as well. And let them know, Coach, what's going on with Camp IR. What do you have going?
Well, tomorrow at Hard Works in Long Beach, we have an open workout for our 2 IR division fighters. We got Dylan the Butcher Ludwig, and we've got Michael Sugar Bomb Claycomb. Sugar Bomb will be fighting for the middleweight title? He's fighting for a title at 165 kickboxing fighters rep December 3rd at the Commerce Casino. So get your tickets.
That's right. You heard it, before you saw Calp. Get your tickets, to get more ticket information. Write the description below. You can follow the coach on the social media platforms. And all the information is there for fighters prep. Hit him up, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. And director, anything else we got going for Fake Destroy?
Yeah, we're playing the Whiskey in January. I think like the 23rd, something like that. Tickets are going to be available soon. And I will get the dates more accurate when I'm more awake and have the flyer in front of me. To check us out at Fake Destroyed FDS on Facebook and Instagram.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, we thank you so much. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy gobble the turkeys and the hams and anything you guys, however you celebrate Thanksgiving. But here in the best MMA podcast in SoCal, we wish everybody and watching internationally and listening internationally. Shout out to Brazil. Thank you so much. You guys are number one fans for this MMA show. We do it for you guys. But
they don't do Thanksgiving in Brazil.
I know. I just wanted to say happy holidays. Happy holidays. I mean, that's what I could say.
They do Christmas.
They do Christmas. Okay, good, good. I know. Canada already did. Their Thanksgiving. So we're behind. I guess we're late. I mean, we're late on our Thanksgiving. I guess you could say. I have no idea. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen,
Cool.
this is the host Stevie's When I Miss the director, Coach Rage. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we'll catch you guys on the one.